Hello, I'm sorry about that. Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Deatrice Powell, your motivational speaker and your inspirational giver. So today's inspiration is coming from an experience that I had yesterday, and I finally got the full revelation of what happened yesterday. So I'm going to give people a couple minutes to get on. Give me one moment because I do want you guys to hear this. Hold on. My husband. Hello to those who are joining. Okay, so I'm not sure if anybody's coming on because it's around lunchtime, and I know some of you are at work. However, I know you see my title, and it's called Do It Your Way. I have been doing things. I've been doing a lot of Bible study lately. Hi, Tanya. How are you? I've been doing a lot of Bible study since I've been home. I've been getting closer to Christ. I've been doing a lot. Like, you just pretty much a lot of downtime and a lot of studying and making sure I'm getting the Word of God, getting the full understanding of it. So I've been doing a lot of research, right? So the other day, I was listening to Charles Stanley, and he had I forget the title of the message, but part of the message was, it was War Room. I don't know if you guys saw my last video that I did about War Room. Hello. I'm going to greet everybody at the end. But anyway, so he did a message about War Room, and he was telling us how he set up a place in his home, and he would call that his War Room. And what his War Room was just his prayer closet, his prayer time where he would go in and he would just have time for him and God, and that was it. So I got excited about it, and I was like, okay, well, let me create a War Room. And I did that. And, I found myself, hi, Eric. Hey, Amanda. I found myself doing what he was doing. And whatever his results were, those were his results. And that's what God led him to do. So I, in turn, turned around and tried to do the same exact thing that he did, which was create a War Room, my prayer closet, right? But I noticed when I did it, I would get up every morning at a certain time, and I would come down, I would go into my prayer room, I would do what I needed to do. But I found myself being more frustrated, and I found myself to be not as diligent in my prayer, not as powerful in my prayer, not as I usually do without having the War Room, right? And I told my husband yesterday, I just wasn't feeling adequate. Like, I wasn't feeling like I'm doing what God is telling me to do. I was doing it someone else's way. I was doing what someone else did. And so it gave me a message to myself is you can, how did I say it? The message was, just because it worked for somebody that way, it does not necessarily mean that it's going to work for you the same exact way. You have to do it your way. You have to do it the way God tells you to do it. It may work for him and the way he created his War Room. And granted, I like that he teaches things, but not everything is meant for you. So again, I found myself being frustrated during my prayer time. Hey, I felt, frustrated because I don't think I was connecting with God the way I normally connect with God, because now I'm trying to connect the way someone else was connecting. So last night when my husband had went upstairs to after dinner. He had went upstairs, and I stayed downstairs. And I said, okay, I'm going to do my Charleston. Normally, I usually do my Bible study upstairs in our room, in the bed, or at my little nightstand, my little table that's next to my bed. So last night, I did it differently. I felt I was led to just stay downstairs in my living room. I turned my TV on. I streamed it from my television, and he gave a message, and I got the message. And after that, it was nice and quiet. It actually wasn't quiet because there was a lot of noise in the background, like outside and things like that. But it was my time with God. So I was able to do that, and I finished my Bible study. It was on my time. And I felt so good. I was like, this is it. I don't have to do it the way someone else does it, because it may work for them. It may not work for me. So that's my message today to you, is just because it works for someone else, do it your way. You have to do it the way God leads you to do it. It may work for that person because God spoke to them in that particular way. I want you to do it this way. And yes, they're sharing their message of what God did. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to follow their exact steps. Just like when I share things with you guys as far as like my health, my husband and my relationship and things like that, I'm not sharing it for you to follow my exact footsteps of how I got there. I was sharing it with you so that to let you know this is what God led me to do. Maybe you can take some pointers from it, but you have to do it your way. So, and even another thing, my husband and I were sitting at the dinner table and I got kind of emotional. I was saying to him how he and I both were diagnosed with COVID, and there was other people that was diagnosed, and my dad and my sister, they were all diagnosed with it, but none of them went to the hospital. Nobody spent time in the hospital but me. So I had said to my husband, I said, babe, I wonder why I'm the only one. I said, I did everything I was supposed to do. I did the steams. I did my vitamin C. I was drinking my tea. I was literally doing everything that I was supposed to do. And I probably went a little above and beyond. So, my husband was saying to me, just because it didn't work for, just because what I was doing and you were doing, it was meant for me to do that way, not you. You was meant to go into the hospital. So that's another example. Just because it worked for somebody else, it does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. Does it mean that you failed? No. It just means that God didn't give you that particular way of doing things. We all going for the same goal, but he gives us different ways of reaching what he wants us to have. So that was my message. That was, something that I even shared last night via my Facebook, and I put up as a status, because it is the truth. Just because he gave so-and-so and told so-and-so to do it that way, it doesn't necessarily mean he's saying, okay, now Deatrice, now you do it the same exact way. I'm not going to get the same results as they got their results. You know what I'm saying? So don't get so caught up. And I'm talking about me too. Don't get so caught up in how such and such and such got to where they are, or how they're doing things and how they're running their business, or how they're selling their books, or how they're doing their Facebook lives, or how they're praying and how they're worshiping and how they're doing this and doing that. That's the way God told them to do it. He tells you something else. Doesn't mean that you can't take their advice, doesn't mean that you can't watch what they're doing, but also at the same time you have to do it your way, the way that God intended for you to do it. And that's something I had to learn. And last night I just sat there after I got up from doing my Bible study. I really sat with that and like, wow, I can't do it the way Charles Stanley does it. His way is great. I mean, that's his way, and that's his connection with God. That's his relationship with God. And so I tried to mimic that, and it didn't work for me. So I had to learn that. Yes, it works. It's a great idea, but Lord God didn't give it to me. And he's doing something different with me. So I did take that as a message, as learning, as growing, that he gives everybody something different to do. We all don't have the same gifts. We don't all have the same way of doing things. We don't have the same walk, the same talk. We all have a personal relationship with God, and he will lead and guide you on how to maintain your relationship with him. The way I do it may not work for you, and the way you do it may not work for me. So you seek him and you ask him to guide you on how to do things in this life. Even your relationship with him. Lord God, how do you want me to communicate with you? How can you communicate back to me? How am I able to hear you? How am I able to understand what you're telling me? The way he communicates with Joe may not be the way he communicates with Deatrice. The way he communicates with Sam may not be the way that he communicates with me. So that's something I really want you guys to understand, and I'm glad that I was able to get it that way. I can't do what someone else is doing. Also, that also applies to life. And like I said, the same way I wrote my book and I did this and I did that. It may not be your way of doing it. You can take what I'm saying and listen to what I'm saying, but you have to create your own way. Do it your way. You guys have an awesome afternoon. I'm getting ready to go upstairs and take my medication and lay back down for a couple hours. But you guys have a fabulous day. I will talk to you soon. Thank you guys so much for sharing and tagging people into my lives. I really do appreciate it. If you're listening to this as a replay, just put that in the comments so that I know that you are listening and that you did tune in. But I am asking that everyone will share my lives as I do them. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon. And I will go back to greet everybody now. Hello, Melisha, I think it is. Hi. Tanya, Eric, hi. Amanda, hey girl. Shakima, hey. And that's it. And my husband. So you guys have an awesome day. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Don't forget to do it your way. Oops, sorry. Bye, Tanya.